just said, Marilyn, in response to the sword, reminded me of something I've been considering, which is that, like, at the point, and we've been talking about, like, shock value too the past couple of days, like the point where you get, whoa, where you really, some way you've done something or some person you've been gets cracked open.
Maybe.
Right, hopefully, right.
Possibly.
Fingers crossed, please. And Marilyn said something about, then it's like choose time. Your time to either open and grow into some new thing, or like retract and patch up, put another, like strut
right
on the old thing that you've done.
Put
for
a Band-Aid on my wound.
Yeah, right. And I wonder what the muscle is, or what the capacity is that.
No muscle.
That's no muscle.
Definitely capacity.
Okay. To like just grow into the
AWE. Whoa, that car came close to me. Wow. Whatever maneuvers me out of that crunch. Wow, that's so awesome. Not, what an idiot I was or he was. Or, whoa, I'm scared. But that takes you further into inquiry of what might be useful in such a close call, a possible collision of forces. Even in collision, I don't know if any of you have been in a severe enough collision, but you were still awake while things were moving as if in slow motion, and you know you were in a problem while you're turning over in a strange way, and one goes into the windshield and legs get broken open, and you don't feel a thing. Just awe and wondering how to match it without clenching. That's what has saved me a few times. The simple acknowledgement of, I'm unbound from this bicycle. I seem to be going head over body. And it's just this slow recognition of what the flow line is, and off I rolled, and no harm. Because of that awe, loosening as well as observing the natural course that the body can use. That's just an occasion of answer. That is a common everyday dilemma and difficulty when it happens. You felt that one, didn't you? You can imagine that slow motion. You've had instances, inevitably, the ball coming too close to your head, and so you duck. Who was he throwing that ball? Or outside today, when my hose was going wild and he's doing the dance to keep out of the way.
Still with wet socks.
But I saw the glee and the awe, and what's she doing that for? All is happening at the same time. She's not very kind to me, is she? But I'll dance anyway. This is everyday life. A little awe, a little glee keeps us fun. And that is so intentionally named here. The fun must be had. So we can pile 5 of us into this narrow galley kitchen, like last night. And just say, move out of the way, I have to chop this. And I'm saying, now, get out of the kitchen. And no one is pouting, they're just going, okay. And it just is fun, much more amusing that way. Without the stiffness, humor reigns better than the id trying to put a cap on it You know what the it is? It's this downward smile. I am pouting inside of a body because my head turns down. The heart and the muscles, all the organs must turn up to hold themselves up. That's one way to play with it. I want to know that there is God here. That there is God. As I look at this imagined vessel, we don't know how that happened, but something of wonder caused vascular habits of energy that became vessels for love to motivate and hold together in a union. We call it embodiment. We call it incarnation. But it's really a tubular vessel. And it's gotten very complicated in many ways for the tubular vessel to flow with energy, and awareness is given to it. I want to know that God is here and not the vessel, however, because the vessel is for something magical. Otherwise, why use magic to make a vessel? It's kind of magic. Magic really means knowing how to catalyze energy to motivate something that hasn't happened before or doesn't normally happen in the routine. You have to break the routine to get something unique. God needs to come in to me, and I need to know that God is here using a vascular mind, body, person before any interview. And again, I'm going to play with that word, viewing between the ecstasies of interest. So before an interview can happen, there needs to be recognition that love is here guiding the project of our use together, our virginal understanding, uplifting. What has never been tainted before needs to be then replaced by God. This must be where it went wrong in some cultures, where they took a virgin and sacrificed her, usually her, to God. The virgin sacrifices the body to what will produce a good outcome. Now that's very scary when we look at it in our flatline mind that goes, uh-oh, sounds like death and mayhem to me, and the sacrificing of some innocent. What you're watching me do here is a turn toward the magic of understanding via noticing where God is, where the actuality of holism is, so I can go through our learning and see where we almost had it right, but we didn't take it out of the physical and into the spirit. It's in the spirit that it has to be so. So let's resume. This is a little bit uncannily both accurate and not able to give you a lot of clue, but I'm finding something out of a secret. It doesn't have to be a secret, but the secret is you need to be a virgin to receive God. Well, pretty much all of us goes, well, next life? That's so over. No virgin here. But the virgin is?
So what is happening is that it's much more comfortable for me to feel virgin while I'm listening.
Yes.
And there is
Wow. Good.
the act then of bringing it forth in word or speaking, and you have the sense that you're betraying the Virgin. I do. The moment I start to speak, I feel the Virgin is still here, but it's somehow being betrayed in the manner that the words are coming out of my mouth.
Maybe, and that happens for a while the mind tries to take it on and think about it. But when God comes through, it wipes the slate. It overcomes the senses, so it's no longer a polite society of one woman, one person, a man, one somewhere in between. There's no problem any longer that isn't being answered directly, finally directly answered. So one of the takes on love, you tried to do something extra when I took your hand.
I did.
Interesting,
Like doing
huh?
the dishes. Funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm limp.
if I just reach over and I help him get back to more innocence, without meaning to, we have a wish to contract. You weren't terribly contracted, but just enough that there was a slight bunching that was going to happen through your chest, through the shoulders. Just by crossing, there's a little bit of a limitation and less course for energy to use us. We'll just have to play out that we know anything about what this means for a while. When we test it, that's going back to being of the answer. Try it on. See what happens. It's an act as if at first. Act as if it's only love going through you. And that means letting your mind drop into the garden again and not go out on its own looking for solutions in knowledge, but come back into the garden. This wholeness that could live on its own, apparently, for a long time. As long as the brain resumes being triggered by, I have to release this because it's a little complicated, but let's do it differently. If the brain knows God, there is no separation of church and state. There is no separation of I am that I am and I am a body. Can you feel something of that? Are you able to sense it's already in some part of us real? It may be that we have built too many images of ourselves and we're putting our ideas out here. You could say as well, all the ancestors kept building another version of ourselves until this is the ancestor sitting in this version now. But way back before the ancestors began, before the program began, we were virgin territory. We were virgin enough to not have a problem with what reality is. Just the reason to pay attention carefully so we are able to see to it.
What feels amazing is that the whole reasoning for dialogue has shifted now. It feels like it's no longer my opportunity to ask the question, but
Right.
it becomes like a play in a field, and that field itself will bring
Nice.
up what wants to dance with it, and
Yes.
something will grow, expand, and it's
That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Good. Shall we pause here? Thank you.